how fast it's going to go, and then like where in the hell is it going to end up. Those are the three things that we learn from every pitch. Same thing that happens when they go breaking ball. Okay, we're going to throw breaking ball. Your first couple are always like trying to gain that information. You're retreating the whole time. So we use this in a couple ways. When we first start our day, if we have a machine out there, go ahead and just start firing it. Okay, we're gonna put the net in front of them. It does a few things. One, they can gain that information. Just go ahead and fire it. All right, so he can gain the information. He can start to see how fast it's going. It obviously has the spin of a fastball, and then he can start to like self-organize and figure out where it's going to go. All right. What the net does for us is it strips it away to where we aren't going to get hit. Okay. There's a general fear, which there should be, of the baseball. Right. You don't have to be afraid. You're not afraid of the ball necessarily, but that thing can hurt you like really bad. So we use this to gain the information, but then also when a guy is working on a skill, he doesn't have to then at the end like freak out and still catch the ball and not hurt himself. So say we had, you know, a pre-pitch movement or a path issue to the ball. We can just start firing, whether it be breaking balls or fastballs or whatever. And he can start to then go like, okay, here's the move I'm working on. This is how I want to get there. And then it's a safe environment. He's not going to get hurt, okay? I like to put the guys about at the end of their reach, you know, when the net comes back. Go ahead and start moving it back to yourself. And then feel how the ball is going to push them in the direction. Go ahead and start bringing it back. So we'll over-exaggerate the piece of catch, the absorption. So he starts to feel that now the ball's coming in, I'm going to then absorb these forces rather than stop it. And you can see the difference in how this looked in the last like 4 or 5 versus the other. One was he was getting there, now we're working on that second piece. So especially when we first get a guy, we're going to put a net in front of him because just he's not going to want to then like, okay, I'm going to catch it, then start to move it. It becomes like a two-piece move. We can focus on, all right, what is your goal today? It is absorption. Great. So every time this ball hits you, I want to bring it back to your chest. And we can always stop it sooner. In the same way that when we hit, you know, it's easier to start going down the right field line and then pull all day and then try to go down to the other side. So we just go on the opposite end. You can always stop the ball sooner. So now on these next few, like absorb a little bit and stop halfway. So now you can start to just, you know, exaggerate that piece and then start to tighten up the movements. Okay, the other piece that we're going to work on with the netting especially is the timing. Okay, good catchers have great timing. I mean, the best guys in the league, they are able to time the pitches up better than anyone else. Right? They have either less movement, tighter movements, or their just ability to get to wherever the ball is going to end up is just greater than others. So we can work on his pre-pitch timing at this point. Well, you know, it's the best time to do it's in the bullpen because you actually have live arms coming to you. But if you're going to be in a controlled environment with a machine, all we're going to do is just try to get him to buy back some of the time that's available. Right? So at 90 miles an hour, you've got, you know, roughly a half a second. Science tells us the first like 1/10 of a second is him processing the ball, coming out, right? Nothing we can do about that. This middle piece is where they're figuring it out, right? This middle 30 feet or so is where they're figuring out spin, speed, location. I see this spin, I feel this speed, it tells me that it's going to end up wherever, okay? This last piece is, I believe, what separates good and bad catchers, okay? It's the ability to then not just meet the ball, right, in this last 10 or 12 feet. It's not the ability to meet it, it's the ability to be there before the ball gets there. In our world, if you're on time, you're late. I'm not talking about like showing up on time. It's being in position before the ball gets to where you want to be, or before it ends up wherever you're going to catch it. Okay, so all it has to do is beat it by 1/100th of a second. Because if you're in position in that 1/100th of a second, then the ball can do what it's supposed to. If you're meeting it, or you have a bad approach, say the ball's middle away, and I'm approaching this side of the ball rather than this side of the ball, or wherever you're trying to make the ball go, the ball will win. So we can really work on the timing and making sure, especially at great velocity, that he is in position before the ball gets to him. And with Keegan here, when the ball goes middle of the way, that's the only time that he kind of gets beat. All right? And it is the toughest pitch for our guys to handle. It is either hard cut or high velocity yanks to that side of the plate. It just takes longer for your hand to get there. So the ability to buy back some of this time at the beginning is crucial. So if we just listen to the machine and watch his first move, or like the first couple. Okay, so there's two things that happen here, right? One, he does it early, which is great. We believe in early, like as early and as slow and as calm as possible. All right, you'll see a lot of guys, because we were all taught that we had to do a pre-pitch movement, right? We're supposed to do something with our hand. It's a turn, a drop. Now guys are like touching the ground and stuff. I'm just not a believer in that piece, but it just takes us in different spots that I don't believe guys can recover from a lot of times. But it has a little bit of a drop with his hand. It's great. That's what he does. Okay, I wouldn't take it away. I would just try to make it slower. Okay, so the second piece that he does is that he stops. So you'll see he has his hand and it goes, it drops, and then it stops, then the ball comes out. So it's basically like a false start. Okay? I don't care how a guy gets going, we just want him to get going. So if we were going to race and they said ready, set, and I start with my arms, and they said ready, set, and you start with your legs, there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of keeping the movement going. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to do that same move, but instead of doing it this much movement, or this much movement in this much time, I want you to do this much movement in this much time. So go as slow as possible. Okay? Soft. Right, so you can see he had like 3 different timings there. A little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, and when he goes a little earlier, if he goes faster, his glove just continues to go down, right? And all of a sudden, now if the pitcher takes a long time and you start that early, you might be in just a horrible place with your glove. So when we talk about doing it, the timing piece, like I said, we want to have this much movement in this much time. So if my hand, this is what I'd like you to do. Just start right here and do your same glove drop, but I want you to go like in crazy slow motion, so it just stays in place. I don't want anybody to really see that your hand is moving, okay? You saw. Okay, so you can see, again, it just takes time to be repetitive with it. But all of a sudden now he just rolls into the movement rather than what he did early of here, stop, then the ball comes out and then he has to move again. So it's just like a false start. So if we can get our guys to be really soft and calm, now their body is not in like a tense situation, right? And their hand's not moving fast. Their hand's not in a bad place. It's generally where they wanted it to target. He's doing his just to relax down. And we have guys that relax their eyes. We have guys that relax their chest. We have guys that don't move their glove at all, and we use the left knee. One guy sits up a little higher and just takes a deep breath. That's his movement. Movement is movement as far as I'm concerned. And again, I don't think there's a right or wrong way. It's just that the movement can put us in really poor positions. So we just have to limit it. If a guy is able to be in a good position when the ball is launched, it just increases the chance of him being able to catch it well. So if we can just get him to stay calm, go ahead and do it a few more. Just stay as calm as you can. Now you can see how he just rolls in, the ball comes out, and then he can go directly to the ball. So we just bought back, say, 900 right there. In a world where thousands and hundreds of seconds matter, that little bit might be the difference between him getting the strike or not, or the difference of him getting blown up or catching it, right? All right, so now